You do. Right to the worst car crash deaths ever.
Walker. On November
Walker.
30th, 2013, fans around the world were shocked by the sudden death of Paul Walker, the 40-year-old
Paul
actor
Walker.
best known for his role in the Fast and Furious films. Walker had built his career playing a man who lived for speed, someone who always came out of a crash untouched. That afternoon, Walker attended a charity event in Santa Clarita, California. He stepped into a red Porsche Carrera GT, driven by his friend Roger Rodas. The Carrera GT was a rare car. Only about 1,200 were ever built, and it had a reputation for being extremely difficult to control. It demanded perfection from its driver. Any mistake at high speed could mean disaster. Around 3:30 p.m., the Porsche accelerated down a quiet street. Witnesses later said the car was traveling over 90 miles per hour. Just seconds later, it lost control, struck a curb, then a tree, and finally a lamppost. The impact ripped the car apart and immediately sparked a fire. At first, many assumed Walker died instantly on impact, but the coroner's report told a more disturbing truth. The collision broke bones and caused trauma, but it wasn't fatal. Paul Walker was alive after the crash. He was strapped into the passenger seat, conscious but trapped, as flames spread rapidly through the wreck. The autopsy showed he suffered burns to his body and smoke particles were found in his airway, clear signs that he was still breathing when the fire started. The heat became unbearable within moments. The smoke filled the cabin, making every breath agonizing. He fought for air as the flames closed in, but there was no escape. The seatbelt that had saved him from being thrown out now became the reason he couldn't get free. It took only a minute for the Porsche to become an inferno. When first responders arrived, the fire was too strong to approach. Witnesses could only watch helplessly as he was trapped inside the burning car. Paul Walker died from a combination of traumatic injuries and burns. The news spread instantly across the world. Fans
I never seen the car before. Whoa.
burns. The news spread
I knew he died. Like I knew he died. Like I knew he crashed into a pole and shit. I've never seen pictures of it. The whole. Jeez.
instantly across the world. Fans mourned not just the loss of a movie star, but the cruel irony of how he died. Paul Walker spent his career portraying invincibility on screen, but his real death was slow and impossible to escape. Ryan Dunn. On June 20th, 2011, the quiet roads of West Goshen Township, Pennsylvania, became the scene of one of the most shocking
What the? I know they probably. What even that? Damn.
car crashes of the decade. Behind the wheel was Ryan Dunn, a 34-year-old stunt performer best known for his appearances on the television show Jackass. Dunn had built a reputation as someone who constantly pushed the limits of safety, often risking his body for stunts that blended comedy with real danger. But this time, it was no act. At around 3:30 a.m., Dunn was driving his Porsche 911 GT3. Investigators later confirmed he was moving at an extreme speed, estimated at over 130 miles per hour. His passenger was Zachary Hartwell, a 30-year-old friend and former Navy veteran. On a stretch of Route 322, Dunn lost control. The car left the road, crashed through a guardrail, and slammed head-on into a tree. The impact was so violent that it tore the car apart. Within seconds, the wreckage burst into flames. The autopsy report later revealed that neither man died immediately on impact. Both sustained major blunt force trauma, but there were also signs of thermal injuries. That meant they were alive, if only for moments, as fire engulfed the remains of the Porsche. Witnesses who arrived at the scene saw a fireball so intense that it was impossible to get close. First responders were met with a vehicle already consumed by flames, making any rescue attempt impossible. He died not instantly, but in the chaos of fire and impact, with no escape. His passenger shared the
Rest in peace to all these people. But lesson learned to this: don't speed, okay? Just don't. It's not worth it. It's really not.
same fate. News.
Yo, can I say I almost got into a car crash like last week? I wasn't driving. My brother was driving. Yo, I'm telling you, yo, it's a green light, by the way. For us. Not for the other person. We're going. This car, just this car on the other side of the road, literally right beside us, decides to go. I mean, I'm alive. For some, yo, okay. The car decides to go for some reason. Yo, we were like this, okay, like this close to fucking hitting them. The only, I can lie, no, I was gonna say the only reason we didn't is there is no, we just got lucky. Because we were going, now it would have been that bad. It's not like we were speeding or they were speeding. But they went for it for some reason. Yo, it's a green light. It's not like we had a yellow. Even if we did, they still, but it's not like theirs was fucking green. They just went. Yo, my brother's driving. Yo, we were like this close, and you know what? For some reason, nobody just decided to stop. They didn't decide to slow down, and for some reason, my brother just decided to keep going at the same fucking pace. Didn't slow down, didn't stop the car, none of that. Just went straight, just completely kept going straight. Yo, we were this close. And when I wouldn't have been bad, but I was like, yo, what the fuck? Why did you not slow down?
Of the accident spread instantly across the world. Princess Diana.
Writing a book is hard.
Is this another car crash? It looked like they were was that a plane?
On August 31st, 1997,
Damn.
Princess Diana left the Ritz Hotel in Paris with her partner Dodi Al-Fayed. It was just after midnight when they got into a black Mercedes-Benz S280 driven by Henry Paul. Paparazzi followed them closely on motorcycles and in cars as they pulled away. Moments later, as the car entered the Pont de l'Alma
I
tunnel,
do not get how paparazzi, the fact that paparazzi like, just allowed to follow people around is crazy, dog. Yo, I've seen videos of paparazzi just beating outside of people's homes.
high speed,
Like, that's
it lost
fucking
control and
insane.
slammed into a concrete pillar. The crash was
Yo,
violent.
okay, well, there's no way they're all car crashes. Okay, let me not.
Dodi Al-Fayed and
all
Henry
car
Paul were
crashes?
killed instantly. Diana survived the
fucking OD, but
impact.
oh,
When
shit.
first responders arrived, they found her still alive in the back seat. She was conscious, her head resting against the seat in front of her. According to fireman Xavier Gourmelon, who was among the first on the scene, she looked at him and asked, "Oh my God, what has happened?" Her injuries were catastrophic, but not immediately fatal. The crash had torn her pulmonary vein near the heart, causing massive internal bleeding.
shit.
From the outside, she appeared shaken but not beyond help. Inside, her body was shutting down. Rescuers worked frantically to stabilize her. She was placed on a stretcher and taken out of the tunnel, still breathing, still aware. In the ambulance, medics tried to control the bleeding and keep her heart beating. For nearly an hour, she fought, slipping in and out of consciousness, her body failing from the hidden damage. At 4 a.m., in the Pitié-Salpêtrière hospital, Princess Diana went into cardiac arrest. Doctors opened her chest to try to repair the torn vein, but the injury was too severe. Despite desperate attempts, they could not save her. She was declared dead at 4:53 a.m. News of Diana's death spread around the world within hours. Millions refused to believe it at first, hoping the reports were wrong. In the days that followed, tens of thousands of people brought flowers and letters to Kensington Palace. Her funeral on September 6th was watched by an estimated 2.5 billion people worldwide, one of the largest television audiences in history. For many, it was not just the loss of a princess, but the loss of someone they saw as a symbol of compassion and humanity. Dale Earnhardt Sr. On February 18, 2001, the Daytona 500 was coming to its final lap. The race was the biggest event in NASCAR, and the man in the black number 3 Chevrolet was its most famous driver. Dale Earnhardt Sr. was a legend of the sport, known as the Intimidator for his aggressive style. Fans expected him to finish strong, as he had so many times before. But as the pack of cars rushed toward the final turn, disaster struck. Earnhardt's Chevrolet made contact with another car, lost control, and slammed head-on into the concrete wall at nearly 155 miles per hour. The impact was sudden and violent. At first, it did not look like a fatal crash. The car wasn't torn apart, and there was no fire. From the stands, many thought Earnhardt would climb out as he had so many times before. But inside the cockpit, the situation was very different. The collision caused what doctors later called a basal skull fracture, a break at the base of the skull where it connects to the spine. It is one of the most catastrophic injuries in racing. Medical experts explained that the injury is not always instantly fatal. For a few seconds, the driver can remain conscious, feeling intense pain, confusion, and a sudden struggle to breathe before the body shuts down. That is what happened to Earnhardt. Rescuers reached his car within moments, but he was unresponsive. He was rushed to Halifax Medical Center, where doctors tried to revive him. At 5:16 p.m., Dale Earnhardt Sr. was pronounced dead. Millions of fans were left in disbelief, unable to accept that a driver who had seemed untouchable on the track was gone. His crash led directly to sweeping safety changes in NASCAR, including the mandatory use of the Hans device to prevent head and neck injuries, redesigned car structures, and safer walls at tracks. Cut in half. In the early 1980s, police in Germany were called to one of the most disturbing car accidents ever recorded on the country's.
What the yo? Damn! I just said a bunch of fucking bullshit ass words, but yo,
highways. The crash involved a
Oh, hold on, just one more time. Look at this, Joe. Oh my God.
ever recorded on the country's highways. The crash involved a Porsche 928, a sports car capable of reaching more than 160 miles
Damn.
per hour. It was a car built for speed, but also one that left little margin for error. On that night, the driver was traveling at extreme speed on the
Of
Autobahn.
course they
Witnesses
were.
later said the Porsche was moving so fast that other vehicles looked almost stationary. In a split second, control was lost. The car swerved, hit the guardrail, and struck it with such violent force that the vehicle was torn apart. The Porsche's strong frame was built to protect against impacts, but at such high speed, the human body inside stood no chance. The force of the crash literally cut the driver in half. His upper body remained strapped to the driver's seat, while his lower body was thrown several meters away from the wreck. When first responders arrived, they were confronted with a scene so gruesome that many described it as one of the worst they had ever witnessed. The
Yo, I
car
can't even
itself was
imagine seeing that
shredded,
in person.
scattered across the road, and what was left
Yo,
of the
that's
driver was
yo.
in
I cannot imagine myself just. Imagine you're a firefighter, you're going over there, you just see somebody cut in half. Yo, you just walk out, you don't even see this part, you just see this, you're like, what the fuck? Like, where's the other part of
two
it?
separate places. The accident quickly became infamous among German police and highway authorities, not only
Jeez.
because of its brutality, but also as a stark warning of what happens when human flesh meets physics at extreme speed. The driver had not been burned, nor crushed slowly. His death was instant, but it was also violent in a way that shocked even seasoned
This
investigators.
should look like a Mortal
Roger
Kombat death.
Williamson. On July 29, 1973, the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort was underway.
F1.
The race drew thousands of fans who watched from the stands and the grass banks that lined the circuit. Among the drivers was Roger Williamson, a 25-year-old from England who had only just started his Formula One career. He was considered a rising talent, young and ambitious, eager to prove himself at the highest level of racing. On the 8th lap of the race, something went wrong. Williamson's car suffered a tire failure at high speed.
Yo,
The
F1
car
got
veered off
hella
course,
laps.
hit the
Flips-
barriers,
oh, like
and
NASCAR
flipped
and all that,
over.
but-
When it came to rest, it was upside down. Almost immediately, fuel leaked out and
Oh,
caught
that's
fire.
not good.
Williamson was alive inside the cockpit. He had not been killed by the impact. Trapped upside down, strapped in, he could not move. The smoke and fire began to surround him. His fellow driver, David Purley, stopped his own car and ran across the track to help. Purley tried to push the car upright with his bare hands, but it weighed far too much. Flames spread quickly. Purley shouted for help, but track marshals hesitated. They had no protective clothing, no fireproof gear, and for crucial minutes, they did not come close enough to the burning car. Williamson's screams could be heard from inside. He was still conscious, fighting to escape as the fire grew hotter and thicker smoke poured from the car. The
Damn.
crowd could only watch in silence. Purley tried desperately, grabbing a fire extinguisher and spraying into the flames, but it was nowhere near enough to put out the blaze. With every passing second, Williamson's situation worsened. The heat, the smoke, and the lack of air inside the overturned car made survival impossible. After several minutes, the fire consumed the cockpit. The screams stopped. By the time rescue vehicles finally arrived, Roger Williamson was gone. The entire scene was broadcast live on television. Millions of viewers
Dude,
saw a
still
young
good,
man
this on
die not
TV?
instantly, but slowly and painfully, trapped while help stood only meters away. Roger Williamson's death shocked the racing world. It led to major criticism of Formula One's safety standards and the lack of proper response at the circuit. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for similar ones and feel
Now you see, Enjoy is yes, my favorite celebrity couldn't have. He was his greatest hit. No, I'm not gonna lie, there was a couple Porsche cars, but also not really. They were just being, not to sound like an asshole, but they were just being stupid. You should, there's no reason for you to be going well, one of them is going like 139. They said. Like, not to sound like an asshole, but that's what you would drive. Come on, some of these people were driving like dumbasses, bro. Some of these people were just okay. It was not really Porsches. Well, if we're being honest. No, they did say they are handled, but I get it. Not fast, fast car. You want nice car, fast car. You want to drive that bitch fast. Shit, I would too. Don't get me wrong, I would too. But I mean, what do you expect when you decide to drive a car? like 130 something mile per hour, bro. Like, there's no way that ends good, especially if it's a car that's hard to handle already. It's like you wanted to die, if we're being honest. Like, let's keep it a buck now. You want 139 hours per hour on a car that's hard to handle? I'm just saying, dude. I'm just saying, dude. I'm just saying, dude. I'm just saying, dude. I'm just saying, dude.